Hi everybody, this is Pike Peters from Techs on the Move. Today we're going to have a chat with Jesse, who has relocated to Melbourne, Australia from Ottawa in Canada, and he's going to talk to us about that decision, how Techs on the Move smoothed the waters a little bit in terms of that move from Northern Hemisphere, North America, down here to Australia. So thank you so much, Jesse, for your time today.
No, it's a pleasure.
Fantastic. If you could just give us a little bit of an idea about your professional background.
Sure. I've been a motorcycle technician for 21 years with a specialty in BMW motorcycles for about 18 of those years.
Okay.
And having hit a ceiling in terms of career development in Canada due to the weather and so on, I was looking for a climate more conducive to motorcycle repair and being successful in the motorcycle business, and that's what's led me to Australia.
That's cool. So why a motorcycle technician? Were you an enthusiast, a rider yourself? So being on two wheels, good?
Of course. As soon as I could get a license, the first thing I did was get out and get my motorcycle license. And always loved them, through high school, and it was I knew it was going to be my career path before I even graduated high school. So.
Excellent. Did you realize that career path was going to open up global possibilities with that skill set?
No, I had no idea. It wasn't until I fell into the BMW brand a bit by accident. And it wasn't until I became really good at it that it wasn't hard to see that when you go to training with similar technicians, you can see that motor-rad technicians, especially in BMW, they're in high demand all over the world.
That's cool.
So once I discovered that, it didn't take me long to seek out other employment opportunities, and that's what brought me here.
Oh, that's really cool. So in terms of wanting to move to the other side of the world, you've got the skills, you're working with a global giant with a global perspective.
Yeah.
Did you know where to start yourself, or is that where Techs on the Move sort of came in?
So I've actually done it both ways. I've done it on my own, myself.
Yep.
I worked in Melbourne between 2003 and 2006,
okay.
And I did all that immigration work myself, so I know exactly what's involved. And during this employment that I've just started with Doncaster, Techs on the Move took care of the immigration requirements for this time around. So I've had exposure to both sides. So I can appreciate how much work goes into it.
And would you recommend having somebody else do it? And having your employer fund it and all that sort of stuff?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Techs on the Move was, it turned a 12-month ordeal into such an easy thing from my end of view. From my perspective, Gavin gave us a checklist of stuff that he needed from us. We just went through the list. We ticked all the boxes, put it all together in one package, and sent it off to him. And then we didn't hear from him again until we were approved.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Was that a long time, or was it fairly?
It was within 2 months.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I was shocked. I was shocked.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So obviously you like Melbourne because you've come back.
Yeah.
So you've had the contrast of living both places. What's the difference between work-life balance and quality of life here compared to back in Canada?
It's heaps better here. It's much better here. Especially here at Doncaster, we're limited to how many hours we work during a week.
Yeah.
At home, because the seasons are so drastically different, the motorcycles are off the road for 6 months a year. So we have to work extremely hard during that time, 12-hour days, 13-hour days, just to be able to survive the winter. Because, as the farmers say, you got to make hay while the sun's shining.
That's it, right? And the sun's shining all the time.
And here, it's there's a much better balance. The climate is better for motorcycling. We can work all year round without too much interruption in our business. So it's far better. Far better.
And for you and your wife, are there interests in Melbourne that make a difference, and what do you enjoy?
Yeah, it's a fantastic city. It has so much to offer. It's a huge city in terms of population, the largest city I've ever lived in. My partner as well.
Yeah.
So it just has so much to offer. I've got really great friends here that we've been able to catch up with, and sort of you might call them a second family, a family away from home.
Awesome.
Yeah.
In terms of adventuring beyond Melbourne, what have you seen? What do you like the most in Australia? What have you seen out there?
The countryside, the coast.
Yeah.
There's such a varied landscape here. You can see desert, you can see the ocean, you can see massive buildings, the tallest ones in the southern hemisphere, the world's best restaurants. Everything's obtainable here.
Yeah. So you're a bit of a foodie. You like doing that?
Yeah, I do.
That scene?
Yeah,
Excellent.
I do.
In terms of challenges, you've done it both ways, but what have you found that the move has thrown up that you didn't quite expect?
I don't know. The second time around, there haven't been really that many surprises. I suppose a little bit from a cost of living point of view, there's been an adjustment there.
Mm-hmm.
Australia is a little bit more expensive to live in. The pays are better too, though. So there's a bit of a balance there, but it's still a little bit more expensive to live here. So that's been probably the biggest challenge.
Do you think that's a perception thing at the end of the day? When you first get here and you're shopping to set up house, and then the wages haven't quite hit, and you haven't quite caught up on that balance? Or is it a worthwhile exchange, do you think?
No, I think at the end of the day, it's not much of a shock anymore. So we've adjusted to a higher cost of living, but at the end of the day, it still is a bit more expensive.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
You came here mentioning that career-wise you sort of tapped out. Do you see a leadership path here, and is that supported by the business and the move?
Oh yeah, is it ever? Yeah, and the dialogue was open right from just about day one. It didn't take long for my skill set to become known to my superiors. They see what value I can add to this company and what service I can do for them. And so the dialogue was open pretty much from day one.
That's fantastic. What advice would you have for people who are thinking about making the big move?
What advice? Take your time when considering making the move. Think about the pros and cons and what you're going to give up, leaving where you're from. Do your research about Australia, and then save your money and make it happen.
Okay, that's fantastic. Thank you so much for speaking to us today, Jesse.
Pleasure.
And it's great to know that people on two wheels are benefiting, as well as the country in general, for having you back. And really appreciating getting to know you.
No worries. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.